Hello, sir. Are you sick of those coos queens out there? You high and dry? Yeah. You know us men. We make more money. We reach higher management positions. And what do women have? Menstruation? Take it. It's yours. Pregnancy? Oh, dear me. You mean I don't get to lactate? Perfect. I'm Ken Halsman. And in the next 45 minutes, I'm gonna...
A lot of attitudes and opinions that people have about women, including that women have about women. And it also expresses a power relationship between men and women that is taken to be not only normal and commonplace, but correct, the right relationship.
They don't have as good a sense of humor as guys. They're not as smart as guys, by and large, and they don't contribute as much to society as we know it. But it's... How come guys get to be the president? How come guys get to be the generals? How come guys build the skyscrapers? How come? Why don't you ask yourself how come, baby? Because we're the ones who do it better. That's fine.
That through history, the qualities that are uniquely superior in the male have served society well. Maybe there are specific may yet for the future be more useful to what the rest of history holds for us than the male has been subsequently, previously. Yeah?
Now, look, here's the thing about this.
That's important.
It's important. We need them to continue on.
To have more males.
Women stop and sit down and start crying.
Battery did not have a social existence. It was a private, secret nightmare. And when women asked for help...
I just don't like it when we try to force this everyone's exactly the same mentality down everyone's throat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and also, why do we need... Do you want cats and dogs to be the same? Do you want apples and oranges to be the same? You know, do you want... Really? Do we want everything to be the same? I sort of like the diversity.
Well, of course he got angry. He didn't do the laundry right. He works hard all day. Well, he's very upset. There's a recession on. Well, of course when he comes home at night, he doesn't want his peas on that side of the plate. And his response may or may not have been a little bit excessive. But hey, he's under a lot of pressure. Hey, he doesn't know the meaning of the word pressure.
A real father would actually try to get his girl to be modest.
Don't talk to me like that.
To a campus where there's too many fraternity
I'll knock your teeth out of your face.
The father delivers a verbal flogging to the mother in front of their children.
You act like
Numbers and severity are far greater than domestic.
Will go on.
My mother is and has always been a devoted housewife. My husband earns mid-six figures. He found me very refreshing compared to the modern-day woman. He loves my long hair, my kept physical appearance, and the fact that I always put him first above all. He is the man of our home, the leader, and the decision-maker. I support him, and in return, he deeply respects me. I do not understand any woman who would deny a man anything, for we women were put here to please and serve our husbands, and marriage works best when this is the case. No home can work and have two masters.
Out there who've said, you know, my grandparents were married for 50 years. That's what I want. You know why they were married for 50 years? Because your grandfather worked and your grandmother shut up and made dinner. That's why. That's why they stayed together. Your grandfather worked, your grandmother stayed home and took care of the house and took care of your grandfather when he came home. That is why they stayed together. Your grandmother didn't work her way up to the top of a Fortune 500 company. Your grandfather did not sit home in the dark waiting for her to come home. That's not what happened. And you have to accept the facts. The facts are that the more you try to fight traditional gender roles, the less likely it is you'll have a successful marriage. And you know why that is? Because marriage is very traditional anyway. It's a very traditional thing anyway. The only way to make it work, and by the way, I've had 4 failures. But that's because I refused to accept the idea that there are traditional gender roles. I refused to accept it, and I was wrong. The way to make a relationship work is to understand the man goes out and earns a living. The woman takes care of the house and takes care of her man. That is how it works. Those are the marriages that survive for decades. The relationships that go on forever. The people who look happy at 50 and 60 and 70. The little old men and women walking around in the park that you see and you go, oh, God, wouldn't it be great to be them? Well, that's what they did. Those women, those 65-year-old women walking around the park with their husbands, they were not working in a company. They were not going to board meetings. They were not coming home at 10 o'clock at night. They were putting the pasta on the table every night. That is what they were doing. You just have to accept it.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. Excuse my language. And now, here he is.
We now have a culture of degenerate women who are overvaluing themselves. What do I mean by this? We now have a culture of sluts, whores, and detestable females who actually think that on a scale of 1 to 10, they are a 10, when in reality, they are a 2. But because we as men have lowered our standards in women for so long, we have made 2 the new 10. So now we have these women walking around thinking that they're a black queen, a white queen, an Asian queen, or a Mexican queen, when in reality, they're a black whore, a white whore, an Asian...
Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
The radio woman on the radio getting the same ratings that you're getting.
The largest flaw women have is to believe that their equality is by some means a good thing. I realize that women's liberation does not work for many reasons. Since women's lib, as they call it, we are no longer good wives and companions for our husbands. Women's liberation is based on selfishness. Freud called it penis envy. But the truth is, it is based on women becoming greedy and wanting the power of a man. These women's opinions came from generations of bitter, unattractive hags who knew no man would want to provide for them or listen to them. Women want the same rights as men, but the flaw of this is that women are driven by emotion and emotional opinions rather than logical reasoning. Until we return to our traditional roles, no family can be happy. Men need to learn to be men again, and only marry a woman who knows her place and loves to please him and only him. It is good that men like yourself are giving the younger generation the encouragement they need to be strong and not put up with this attitude. It is a shame that women have forgotten their traditional role, and it seems that most women have no idea what they lost in the process. Thank you for reading my letter. I think your show is great. I listen often when preparing dinner before my husband comes home. Sincerely, Tracy.
There's nothing more liberating and freeing to a woman than chauvinism. A woman has no responsibilities because I don't expect her to get anything right. All women are whores. They trade sex for money, they trade sex for cars. How is prostitution illegal, but alimony isn't? They're basically the same thing. You're paying for the whore to leave.
I personally am so tired of women as a group that I'm embarrassed for them. These women that get married, hold a career, pop out kids, only to stick them in daycare, should not be allowed to call themselves wives. They should be called users. They hold on to their families to show that they can be working women and family women, but in truth, they are just screwing up their poor kids and neglecting their husbands. Hear, hear. Women need to remember, a woman's place is in the kitchen. I've been married for 3 years now, and I'm proud to call myself a wife. My husband supports us both, and we are very well off. I could work, but what's the point? I know my place in life. My husband has 3 home-cooked meals a day, clean clothes in his closet, and sex whenever he needs it. More women need to remember aprons and cookbooks instead of designer business suits and appointment books. Women were created to serve men, and they should remember that. I do. And, of course, more than likely you're thinking I'm really ugly or fat. Well, I used to model, and sometimes I still do, just for fun. But only when my husband approves it. Thank you for the message that you send out every day over the air. If only more people would listen. Signed, Kate,
This is where
in the Inland
America
Empire.
gets together to talk about the issues you
Now, many of you guys would love to...
really care about. There's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No, I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it at 1-800-5800-TOM.
Women should not be allowed to vote. It's ridiculous. A woman president would be a disaster. Women know in their hearts that women cannot make decisions. A woman would never vote for Hillary Clinton. She embarrassed herself by not pleasing her man, essentially. And women know it. Oh, women are only good for having kids. Unfortunately, they're not very good at raising them. Hitler was raised by a single mother. Men have created everything you see in the world. Men invented electricity. Men invented cures for diseases. Every brick you see is there because a man put it there. The only thing women really do with their time is spend men's money. Men, this is what you look like to a woman. This is all they're after. Women can't do math. They can't be organized. Can't lead a company. They can't take risks. They can't drive for crap. You can't blame women for what they do wrong in the same way that you can't blame a dog for what it does wrong. It's your fault for not training it properly.
Is centered around. You even have a website, menarbetterthanwomen.com.
I have a website, menarbetterthanwomen.com. I educate thousands of new men daily to the art of chauvinism.
Do you agree that you're judgmental?
Sure. I think everyone is.
Yeah, and because we ask you several questions. You said if you see a woman driving an expensive car,
she's owned.
She's owned by somebody.
Paid for. Absolutely.
And what do you mean?